One day and a few hours later, the duo had finally arrived at Wonji town. Everything looked pretty ordinary so far. It was just that along the way, while observing the busy streets, they kept hearing strange conversations that made him confused. Were they so old that they couldn't understand what these youngsters of nowadays were fascinated about? Nianzu, what do you think? I think they might be talking about some important people in the town. Didn't you hear how they spoke about someone called Senior Johnny Cage? Or someone called Kratos? Even though it's a strange name, I think it might be some powerful person. Songai nodded wisely. Yes, I think you're right. It's just that I've never heard of a powerful person called Johnny Cage. Or do you think it's someone from Bailong or Yanging province? Nianzu thinned his lips with a grim expression. I hope not. You and I know we can't handle the people from those provinces. Our strength is nowhere near theirs. So then, what do we do? Songai, for now, we need to investigate things calmly. After all, he might be overthinking things. All we need to do is find my disciples, and the rest is history. As for those strange names we heard, we can ask about them from my disciples after we find them. HMHM. Sounds like a plan. With that, they all headed towards the inn that Bo Su said he was staying in. Sure enough, they didn't find anyone there. Seeing this, they wasted no time and immediately started searching for the gaming hall, per Bo Su's note. And after asking around, they finally found themselves standing before the gaming hall. On the way, they once again heard disturbing facts that gave them bad impressions of the hall. Nianzu in particular frowned upon such news. How could there be a place that made people have breakthroughs within days? It must be fake, he thought. One should know that he, Grand Elder Nianzu, was already at the 7th Dan of the spirit realm and was 745 years old. He knew he had more experience than many. And even when he began his cultivation journey all those years back, he spent years breaking through from 1st Dan to 2nd Dan within the true Qi realm. So how could it be that easy? Now, he heard people say that they shed through mortal bones and broke through to 1st Dan, which was okay. But how is it possible that they were almost breaking through to 2nd Dan of the true Qi realm in such a short period? Yes, breaking through to 1st and 2nd Dan were the easiest steps in cultivation, as people could do so in a year or two. So how was it possible that they could do this in a few days? This was for sure a scam, and when he finally revealed the real colors of these con people to everyone else, he would make sure to beat the hall owner black and blue. How dare he lie and lead the cultivators astray? As a good person, how could he let such a criminal exist to continue destroying the lives of others? Dear Elder Nianzu, isn't it just your pride that is hurt? Why are you making it sound like you're so righteous? Standing outside the store, they quietly looked at the signboard, feeling more enraged again. Songai's lips twitched. Old Nianzu, I'm glad that you brought me here, or I would have never known that such a shameless place existed. Their prices are even higher than the gravity room in the sect. Are they trying to say that what they offer is better than our sect? Are they looking down on us? Preposterous. Nianzu squinted his eyes coldly while observing those going in and coming out. Something isn't right. These people are acting too happy for getting scammed. What do they know? They have never been anywhere big, so they most likely believe the bastard who put these rules up. You're right. No matter how I look at it, it's impossible for this tiny building to have anything that could beat the profound sect. So it's most likely a scam. With that, the duo slowly entered the gaming hall, hoping to catch these con people's tricks. But what they saw left them with grim expressions. They scrutinized their surroundings in shock. They hated to admit it, but the space array formations used here were far superior and felt stronger, giving a deep wave of reference to those who gazed upon it. Wasn't this reversal too fast? You there. How do we play these games? Chu Che looked at them casually. You can play using your membership card. Membership card? What was that? Sigh. Chu Che quickly showed them a place for collecting maps. And so they went to the registration hall, did everything that needed to be done, and returned. This time, their attitudes were seemingly calmer and less cold than before. Chu Che looked at them in confusion. What changed? Nonetheless, no matter how calm their expressions were, they still felt like this whole thing was a scam. Sure, they were impressed with the map and space magic, but there was no such device that could push one into breaking through faster, unless one was under a lot of pressure when fighting an enemy or went into a gravity room to adjust pressure settings. Nianzu looked at Chu Che curiously. Do you have gravity rooms here? No. Then, is there a hidden arena somewhere we don't know about? Nope. Why would there be one? Nianzu looked at Chu Che and somehow found him not pleasing to the eyes. What a cheeky little brat, he thought. Then, can you guarantee I'll enjoy whatever game you have here? Yup. Heh. Fine kid. We'll see what you can offer. But if you can't impress us, then this hall of yours will be at risk. Chu Che paused before smiling mysteriously. Even if all the cultivators and the elders in the Cagnan continent come together, no one can touch this building. Gentlemen, this is my final warning to you. Let this be the last time you threaten me as the park owner. That said, do enjoy your game. Nianzu and Songhai looked back and looked at Chu Che in disdain. Keep pretending. We'll soon expose your tricks. Chu Che couldn't be bothered by their attitudes and led them toward the crowd. But when they looked at the screens, they were dumbfounded. Why were there tiny people the size of their fingers running inside there? Could it be that this place specialized in shrinking people? Since all the computers were in use, they needed to wait their turn. But for some reason, they didn't feel bored at all. After Chu Che left them, they quickly gathered as much information as possible. Ru Moyen was also in the group as well. Once again, he came late because he had chores to do at home. Nianzu scrunched his brows vigilantly. Young man, how did those people get in there? Is this place doing something illegal? Illegal? Ru Moyen was flabbergasted and enraged. He looked like he was about to fight Chu Che's battle. What illegal? There's nothing illegal about this. That right there is an entirely different world. And from here, we get to go in and control what we call our characters. So what's illegal about it? Hey, are you trying to get this hall into trouble? Nianzu and Songhai were speechless by the youngster's momentum. Why did it seem like the kid was terrified about the thought of this place getting in trouble and never opening again? How could it be? They must be imagining things. As for the matter about another world, they didn't fully believe it yet. Logic told them it was impossible. If their sect and other mighty sects couldn't find such a thing, how is it possible that a time town like this would have one? Ha 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 ha. That was loony. Nonetheless, they were still very much impressed and wanted nothing more than to find the secrets of this strange box artifact. Nianzu swallowed hard in a daze. So what do you do in there? We fight against some enemies and sometimes ourselves. And the best thing is that even if we die there, we are still alive out here. Nianzu and Songhai opened their eyes and looked at each other in alarm. Did such a good thing actually exist? We want to go into these realms. We want to try. Ru Moyen looked at their exciting figures and tapped their shoulders like a proud wise sensei, leading his pupils towards the future. Nianzu and Songhai looked at his actions and almost rolled their eyes at him. If this brat knew who they were, would he still act like this? The things they did for investigations. Ru Moyen, who didn't know their thoughts, was still immersed in the role of a good teacher, showing his students the way. Come now. Entering the game world is very simple. I see that you're holding your membership cards, but you do have enough money in them, right? Yes. There should be enough to play for 3 days. Songhai replied. All right. Then all we have to do is wait our turn. Don't worry. You came fairly earlier than many, so you should be able to have the chance to play today. If you had come later on, I wouldn't be able to guarantee this. Fortunately, Boss Chu added many more computers, making things go faster. Nianzu and Songhai looked at Ru Moyen in confusion. Boss Chu? Yes, Boss Chu. Ru Moyen's eyes flickered in reverence once talking about Chu Che. Boss Chu is the figure I look up to the most. He's the park owner, the owner of this gaming hall. Wait, park owner, park owner, park owner. Didn't that annoying brat who brought them over call himself the park owner? This youngster wouldn't be talking about him, right? No, it couldn't be. Ru Emo. Who is this park owner? Ru Moyen was taken aback. Eh? Why would you ask me such a question when I saw the park owner bring you over? Look over there. He's the park owner, a man whose strengths no one can guess. Nianzu and Songhai looked at Chu Che again. But this time, they tried to see through his strength. They realized that they couldn't. F*******. What did this mean? They were both over 700 years old in the spirit Tao realm. So how could a 16-year-old brat be stronger than them? This was too illogical, right? They looked at Chu Che as if looking at a ghost. Could it be that he started cultivating when he was a fetus to get to this level? No. Even doing that wouldn't be able to make him this strong. Genius. They looked at Chu Che with the same shock one might have when meeting an alien. Actually, at their level, they should be able to see through Chu Che's cultivation level. But Chu Che had always been wearing the artifact given by his mother, hiding his strength all the time. So it was natural for Nianzu and Songhai to feel that way. The duo chatted with Rumoyan more and more as time went by. They also got fully absorbed being audience members, watching everything and giving their own comments. Of course, they felt like they would be able to take out these so-called enemies in a flash. As distinguished grand elders of the profound sect, how could they be words than these youngsters? They were so drawn into being audience members that they completely forgot why they were here in the first place. Gaul had just finished playing Mortal Kombat and was about to wait for the others before leaving together. But when he got up, he saw two figures that he was very much used to, standing around the batch of new computers. He only saw their backs and felt that they looked all too familiar. It wouldn't be Master, right? Gaul's face turned pale as he slowly made his way over. How did he forget that they had invited Master over? Master? Grand Elder Songhai. Who? Both Nianzu and Songhai, who were in a deep discussion with Rumoyan, looked at Gaul's face in embarrassment. They too had forgotten to look for these juniors. But very soon, their embarrassment turned to rage. Humph. So you still have the guts to show your faces at us, after leaving us worried all this time. Gaul felt very aggrieved. Why did he seem like they were enjoying themselves rather than being worried? Rumoyan was shocked by the turn of events. He knew Bosu, Gaul, and the rest came from the profound sect. And seeing the way Gaul addressed them showed how powerful they were. So didn't this mean these 30-year-old-looking men were great people in the profound sect? Oh no. Did his breath smell? Were his hands clean? Remembering how he casually placed his hands on their shoulders, as if guiding them, Rumoyan had cold sweat running down his back. F******. They wouldn't be offended, right? Gaul's head was still down as he listened to the disdainful comments from Nianzu and Songhai. Well, to be honest, they weren't all that angry. If they hadn't come, they wouldn't have known that such a thing existed here. They looked at Nianzu and didn't want to waste more time with him. Rather than looking at him, they were more focused on looking at the screen, all right? Thank you, Master, for your forgiveness. Yes. Whatever. Now, Ruemo, tell me more about the lightning god, Raiden. Yes, Ruemo, tell us. Is he that strong? Gaul, who both elders had brushed off, didn't know how to feel right now. He was glad that he was off the hook. But why did it feel like he only got off? Because they didn't care. The perplexed Gaul decided to stay beside his master and win his affection back. Rumoyan, who had suffered after knowing the identities of the middle-aged-looking men, calmly relaxed again when talking about Mortal Kombat. Gaul inserted himself in the conversation, making his master see him pleasing again. Indeed, this hall had a charm of its own, making people from all statuses come together. And soon it was time for Rumoyan, Nianzu, and Songhai to play. Both elders looked at Gaul proudly, as if saying, "Just watch how we play with these villains who gave you a bad time." Looking at them, Gaul had déjà vu, remembering his first time coming here. His master and elder Songhai should be able to take down the enemies without any setbacks, right? Gaul nodded and felt that it should be the case. Who were they? They were distinguished elders of the profound sect. So how could they lose? Impossible. They had more experience and strength than everyone else here. So they would never lose. Gaul stood by them proudly while watching their gameplay. After inserting their cards, they immediately saw two icons on the screen, God of War and Mortal Kombat. Now they started to believe. The voice from the artifact made them almost leap in shock. Who said that? So it is true. This was really a gateway to multiple realms. Damn. How could such a puny place have this when their sect didn't? What was the real identity of the park owner? Looking at the icons before them, they started hesitating on which one to choose. They had agreed that they would both try Mortal Kombat first. But seeing how heroic the God of War icon was, they were very tempted. Well, it's a tough call to make. But let's just stick to Mortal Kombat for now, before entering the God of War realm. Songai nodded in agreement. Old Nianzu, let's do that then. With that, they selected Mortal Kombat and chose the Conquer Story mode settings. Soon, they found themselves quickly losing consciousness. And in a blink of an eye, the scene around them changed. Degree oh degree. Nianzu looked around him and was left in a daze. Words alone couldn't describe what he was feeling right now. While watching from an audience's point of view, they didn't get the whole experience. So for them to suddenly teleport and find themselves here in a blink of an eye made them speechless. Of course, without their permission, they got drifted into some story about the world they were in. Suddenly, the scene changed drastically, and they soon found themselves looking at a dark, creepy tower that had lightning falling on it. Why was the lightning only targeting the top of the building? Wait, could this be the home of the lightning god Ru Moyan mentioned? No way. Were they really going to see Elder Raiden? DRMM DRMM. The sounds of thunder went off as countless reddish lightning streaks burst out from the sky and landed on the tower. Soon, they were taken to the top of the building, where they spotted a massive hole drilled from the bottom of the tower to the top. Was the hole there so that the lightning could get into the building? DRMM, DRMM. Several streaks of lightning passed by them, making them shiver in fright. How could it be that strong? They felt like if it struck them, they would turn into dust. And as they slowly descended into the hole, the rich chi and pressure from Raiden's lair made them tremble like peasants looking at a god. Well, Raiden was a god, so it was normal for them to feel that way. If such a person existed in the lower realm, he would be able to destroy the entire place with a flick of his wrist. Elder Raiden was mighty. DRMM, DRMM. Ah! A deep spine-chilling cry echoed from within the building, making their hairs stand. And soon, they decided even further down the hole, only to find that the lightning that fell through the hole into the tower seemed to be directed at a certain prisoner. The prisoner wore a very eye-catching gold armor and was chained up with his hands apart. His face and body really looked bad, with countless injuries on them. Well, being struck by lightning so many times, who wouldn't look bad? They even felt it was already a miracle that the guy was alive. If it were them, one strike, and they would turn into powder. That's how strong they felt Raiden's lightning was. Could this guy be another god, since he was still alive after all that? Soon, the prisoner coughed loudly before looking up, making Nianzu and Songai freeze. Did he notice them? What do they do now? The prisoner looked in their direction, revealing a set of all-white eyes with no pupils in them. Cough, cough. You should thank me, Raiden. Our battle changed you, for the better. Seeing his cold eyes, Nianzu and Songai wanted to cry. Each of them, in their own computers, felt helpless. Senior, I'm not Senior Raiden, okay? What was this situation they found themselves in? Even when injured, the senior before them was too strong compared to them. His cold aura made them feel like a kitten standing against a lion. This is a setup, but just when the duo was about to cry, they soon saw another man in the room who looked overly heroic. The man stood in front of what looked like a port, wearing a large flat hat on his head, a strange bluish-black cultivator attire, and pieces of metal shields on his body. And when he looked up, his eyes shone with red lighting. So powerful. The duo felt like they were looking at a savior. Senior Raiden, is that you? When the duo saw Raiden, they almost went on their knees in worship. The chi around Raiden was so powerful that it made them feel choked, especially when he looked coldly at the prisoner, revealing sparks of reddish lightning in his eyes. His aura was too majestic, commanding the duo to feel like ants. And so the story continued. Raiden looked at the chained-up prisoner coldly and shot several red streaks of lightning through his hands. The prisoner's body trembled in pain. Ah! Be silent, Shinnok, Raiden exclaimed, and the duo instantly shut their mouths in fear, as if they were the ones he was talking to. Soon, the duo got too absorbed by the conversation between Senior Raiden and the villainous Shinnok. What truth about the elder god is Shinnok talking about? And why did that truth seem to be against Earthrealm? Kill him, Senior Raiden. Deep within themselves, they found that they had some affection for this Earthrealm. They didn't know why, but they fully supported Senior Raiden, who was Earthrealm's protector. And as they kept watching, their entire hairs stood put in terror. What did they just see? Raiden made a lightning sword before their very eyes that sliced off Shinnok's head. But he didn't die. Rather, his severed head was still alive. Damn! So this was what being a god was all about? What kind of power was this? Looking at the head, Raiden raised his hands in the air, commanding more lightning to strike it. Bam! Bam! Shinnok's entire head twitched in pain. I will deliver you to Louis Kong and your netherworld minions. You will serve as a warning and be an emblem of my wrath. With that, Raiden slowly walked away, as if bored to continue talking with Shinnok. Well, that should be the end of this scene. Or so they thought, because the moment Raiden's aura disappeared, they felt another one, different from Shinnok's. Who? Just then, the rain that fell into the building through the giant hole suddenly froze midair on its tracks.
No.
Rather than freezing, one could say that it was falling at a very slow pace. And moving admits it was a woman in white, whose body glowed with blue streaks of light. To be honest, it was more like ice rather than light. Senior, who are you now? Her aura was also one that commanded their fear and attention. These people are too strong, they thought. Soon the scene cut again, without them even knowing who she was. But listening to her, they knew that she was definitely a villainous boss. Maybe the boss of all boss villains here. Now it seemed like the moment of truth had come, because within the next second, the duo got dragged to a scene where people called soldiers all stood in formation, dressed in funny attires. Watching the scene, they saw a man with a black item, shades, on his face, and a lady who was focused on commanding these soldiers. Of course, because they watched from an audience's point of view earlier on, they had already known that the man was Senior Johnny Cage, and the woman was Senior Sonya Blade. Soon, they found themselves in the body of a girl, who happened to be called Sergeant Cassie Cage. Today seemed to be an important day for the young girl. For her to get promoted, she needed to kick her mother's ass. Heh, this should be easy. Instantly, their screen had several bars on it, as they could see their own health bar, as well as Sonya's health bar. Yup, they knew bits and pieces of this healthcare stuff from watching earlier on. Now it was time for them to fight. Nianzu's eyes turned cold as he quickly rushed towards Sonya, planning to deliver a fierce punch at her. But Sonya, who seemed to have a mind of her own, moved like lightning, surprising and catching him unawares. She quickly ducked, avoiding the punch, and moved swiftly underneath his stretched hand before appearing behind him. The key thing to note was that while she moved, she grabbed his wrist, twisting it in a 90 degrees unnatural position, and placed his hand behind his back. In the meantime, her other hand wrapped itself around his throat, and she, who was behind him with a smile on her face, leaned back, making him struggle for air. Ha ha ha, Cass. You have a long way to go if you think you'd be able to take down your old woman with such weak tricks. At this point, Nianzu's hand behind his back was very numb, and his neck felt like it would soon disconnect from his head. Looking at his health bar, he realized it went down a bit from 100% to 97%, showing how brutal this woman's moves were. Was going down. Damn it, woman. Aren't I your kid? Do you want to kill your daughter? What a brutal mom. As if sensing his dissatisfaction, Sonya delivered several other attacks, punching and kicking Nianzu brutally. Cass, this is tough love. If you think I'm going to let you defend Earthrealm with these measly skills of yours, then think again. Bam bam, bam, pa bang. Crying face. Sonya bent down and delivered a low kick at the back of Nianzu's legs, almost crippling him. Nianzu opened his eyes in shock, while staring at the slow-motion image of his bones cracking. The pain was damn too intense. He felt like he would never be able to walk again. He couldn't help gritting his teeth in rage while staring at Sonya. He was starting to doubt whether she was just doing her job, or acting out to ensure that her daughter never went to war. This bloody woman wanted to cripple him. How could this be motherly love? Seeing Sonya's mysterious smile, Nianzu couldn't help shivering a bit. F asterisk asterisk asterisk. Someone should get this psycho out of his face. No more, no more, no more. Bam, 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 pa. Sonia didn't show any mercy at all. And during the fight, she grabbed him from behind again, turned him around, and allowed an oval-shaped flying artifact to attack him. Bang, 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 bang. Nianzhu didn't know what happened, but he was sure that whatever was shot at him was painful as hell. Son of AB asterisk asterisk ch. His body trembled as he took on 3 bullets. But the most painful of all was the one that went through his skull. At that moment, he saw a gruesome image of his skull-cracking brutality. His breathing grew heavy, and his body trembled in agony. Even when fighting enemies on the lower realm, he had never felt this bad. Well, maybe because he had never had anything stab his skull pricing through his brain. Such a move would kill anyone. Pain, 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 pain. There was no way he would believe that this woman was doing it for his good. Are they really related? Nianzhu was unconvinced. He stood, feeling very dizzy. And soon, an evil voice from nowhere echoed out. Ha 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 ha. Finish him.
Bam.
His HP dropped from 3% to 0%. All right. He was dead. Sonya Blade wins. Flawless victory. Fatality. _ Screw you. In his dying moments, Nianzhu really wanted to give the strange voice a piece of his mind. As if that was not enough insult, when he fell to the ground, Sonya crouched down with the flying thing behind her and tilted her head playfully. Cass, didn't I tell you? You fight just like your father. Soft. Nanazu, _ 6 hours later. What kind of powerful skills are these? Why can't I take down this Sonya Blade woman? Damn it. I'm not reconciled. I'm a grand elder of the profound sect. So why can't I beat her? Nianzhu exclaimed unwillingly. He had never felt so helpless in his life. He felt like he had truly lost face. And right before his disciples too. Bo Su and everyone else was here, surrounding the duo. And throughout his entire 6-hour play, he used 5 whole hours to beat that woman before moving on and getting stuck on the next fight scene with someone called Cable. The most depressing thing was that Sonya kept giving him flawless victory wins for an entire 1.5 hours before he managed to hit her. But even after hitting her and getting rid of the flawless victory tag, he still couldn't avoid her fatality moves. It was just too cruel and embarrassing. Nianzhu swore that he would rather drink his own blood than allow it to happen again. Songhai rubbed his nose in embarrassment too. Somehow, he was secretly thankful that he didn't bring any of his disciples along. The shame would have been too much for him to bear. He didn't even know how Nianzhu could still act tough before his disciples. Actually, Bo Su and the rest didn't think it was shameful. After all, it was undeniable that the Mortal Kombat world was too strong compared to the lower realm. So even though they hoped their master would win, it wasn't something shameful in their eyes. Rather, they were very impressed. Master, you were awesome. It took me 6 whole hours to get rid of the senior Sonya's flawless victory wins, and another day for me to finally defeat her and move to the next part. But you managed to do all this in just a single day, and even started fighting Senior Cable. Elder Songhai, I saw what you did when you used Senior Sonya's move against her. Awesome. Everyone, even those in the audience, complimented the duo, making them feel like things weren't as bad as they thought. Yes, that world did have strong characters. They hadn't even fought or seen Senior Raiden yet, so one could imagine how deadly that world there was. All right, at least he didn't completely lose face. Nianzhu, who had just gotten up, felt a slight change within his body. Elder Songhai felt it too. They looked at each other before inspecting themselves hurriedly. The result left them gasping in disbelief. F asterisk asterisk asterisk. Did they grow stronger? While watching earlier, no one had mentioned such a thing, as everyone focused on the realms. So this came as a big shock to them. Bo Su and the rest smiled, while explaining the meaning of the points under their cultivation levels. So once we have enough points, we can break through? Yes, Master. That's it. Graus 0 graus. Nianzhu and Songhai felt dizzy from shock. Such a thing existed, and they didn't know about it. Listening to their disciples and seeing the changes within them, they realized that the more challenges and experiences they had in these realms, the more points they would accumulate. This was the fastest cultivation method they had ever seen. Yen Jin and Bin Owo, who he had estimated to break through a few years from now, would probably break through in a few weeks or a month. He just realized that the qi produced in those strange realms might even be far superior to that in the upper realm and those above. Remembering the battles they just had and seeing the outcome, they were just too excited right now. The duo soon got absorbed in their own world as they shared their experiences against Sonia and Cable. Old Nianzu, Senior Sonia, is just too powerful. Do you know that her punch broke my ribs? I can't stop remembering the bloody image I saw of the bones getting broken. Heh, it seems that she went too easy on you. That crazy woman placed those bullets into my head, cracking my skull so many times without number. She also tried strangling me as well. I really suspect her. Me too. Are we sure that she is Cassie's mother? Why do I smell a conspiracy? I suspect that Cassie is Senior Johnny Cage's illegitimate daughter. No, she looks too much like Senior Sonia Blade. Wait, could it be that Senior Sonia is her aunt and not her mother? You're right. Why didn't I think of that? I believe we solved it. But this aunt doesn't seem to like Cassie that much. So what do? We have to save her. Yes, we will save her for Senior Sonia, but not now. Why? Because Senior Sonia is very strong and is needed to help us take down the evil people going against Earthrealm. After the war, we'll help her. Chu Che, who was passing by. Looking at the duo, Chu Che didn't know whether to laugh or cry. If it were the other way around, Cassie would still do the same action if it were Sonia at a disadvantage. You guys do know that this is a game, right? Well, Chu Che didn't blame them for feeling that the people inside were real, because the system had made the characters come alive. They can even devise sneak attacks and other tactics while cursing at everyone here. So no matter how much Chu Che had tried to explain that it was a game, everyone fully believed that it was another area instead. Chu Che had given up when it came to this matter. As for Nianzu and Songhai, seeing Chu Che now made them very excited. Their attitude towards him had flipped 180 degrees from before. They now looked at Chu Che as if they had found a treasure. The duo rushed towards him with enthusiasm as their eyes sparkled with awe. What sort of thing is that flying artifact Sonia Blade always uses? Boss Chu, I'm talking about the thing that can shoot the thing called bullets into a person's skull. Boss Chu, what I want to know is how the membership cards and the maps are made. Boss Chu, please don't leave me hanging. If you don't tell me, I might die. The duo bombarded numerous questions to the speechless Chu Che, who had black lines on his face. Can't you guys allow me to answer before jumping to the next question? The duo spoke simultaneously, without even catching their breath, while standing overly close to Chu Che. Bo Su and the rest couldn't help smiling wryly. Master Elder Songhai, any closer and you'll kiss Boss Chu. Nianzu looked at Chu Che, thinking of how to bundle him up and take him to the profound sect. All teachers or elders must have at least 3 professions here in the lower realm while being teachers. Firstly, here in the lower realm, the highest rank for any profession is rank 3. The knowledge and qi here were insufficient for improving and practicing their crafts higher than rank 3. And so a rank 3 person here was seen as too powerful. That said, as an elder, even though the least requirement is to have 3 professions outside teaching, Nianzu had 4. And coupled with his high cultivation, he met the criteria of being a grand elder in the sect. Again, all professions here have 3 stages: entry-level, equi-level, and conclusive level. That said, apart from being a 3-star master teacher, he was also a rank 3 entry-level rune/formation master, or a rank 2 entry-level painting/calligraphy master, or a rank 3 entry-level worldly designer, or a rank 2 conclusive level blacksmith. Those were Nianzu's professions. So as a worldly designer, who could create qi-infused puppets and a few other artifacts, he was completely blown away by the things he saw in the Mortal Kombat secret realm. More still, as a rune/formation master, how could he let things go after seeing the map and other super rune and formation tactics used here? The same thoughts ran through Songhai's head. He too was a grand elder, who had 4 other professions outside of being a 3-star master teacher. making a total of 5 professions. Anyway, his professions were the same as Nianzu, except that he had different ranks since he was drawn to some more than others. Again, the only profession different from Nianzu's was that he wasn't a blacksmith but an appraiser. That was where he differed from Nianzu. Nonetheless, he was so much drawn to the space array formations around, and the many artifacts too, that he almost held Chu Che's leg to beg. In the face of such godly things, they immediately threw their high identities outside the window. It was as if they were little children getting Christmas gifts. The duo was seriously considering how to kidnap him if need be. At this point, they were very much unwilling to head back to the profound sect. If they went, how would they continue leveling up? How would they see these mysterious artifacts again? Damn it! Why was the profound sect so far away? What was so good about the city? Couldn't the sect have established itself next door to Wanji town? Well, it wasn't that far for them, since it was only 1.5 days with their cultivation base. But for others, it might take 9, 15, and even 30 or more days, just from running across the forest and roads. Of course, some beasts could fly over here faster, depending on the beast's strength too. However, even though it was just 1.5 days for the duo, they still felt it far. They wanted to cry. "Boss Chu, do you know how that artifact in Senior Sonia's hands works?" Chu Che nodded his head. I do. That one's similar to the flying artifact, but at the same time different. It's called a gun. Gun. Awesome name. Then what about the thing that rolls on wheels? That one is called a car. But in Sonia Blade's case, she was using a military truck. So the name is military truck? Well, it's just truck. The duo's eyes lit up with smiles on their faces. They immediately started tapping themselves playfully like idiots. Ha ha ha. Old Nianzu, it's a truck. Yes, 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 yes. Even though I don't know what it means, it is indeed a befitting name. Of course it is. Anything named by Boss Chu is definitely great. Truck. Ha ha ha. I like that name more and more now. Hey, old Song is about to have his great-great-grandchild soon. We should let him name the kid truck. Yes, it's a very majestic name, but I think we should call the kid gun. Bo Su and the rest shook their heads at their master and elder Songai. Obviously, car is a better name than truck, so the child would be named Car. Listening to their ridiculous banter, Chu Che earnestly prayed for the child in his heart. What sort of name is that? Forget it. He wasn't going to say anything lest they start getting jealous of his handsomeness again. Sorry, kid. It looks like your name will be Truck. Chu Che just hoped that the guy wouldn't grow up to be like all the Truckkuans who took innocent people's lives daily. Truckkuan's kill count was something the cultivators here would never understand. He was a real serial killer. Sigh. Emotions couldn't describe what the duo was feeling right now. The more they heard and saw, the more awestruck they were. They were also very curious about Chu Che's master. They heard from Bo Su that Boss Chu created everything here on his own. So just imagine how powerful Boss Chu's master will be. Now, after asking Chu Che himself and confirming that he indeed had a great master, they immediately dispelled all thoughts of bringing him back to the sect. What a joke! They dared not incur the wrath of such a great master. More still, just by interactions and seeing everything happening here, they knew that Chu Che didn't have any evil intentions and wouldn't have any thoughts on the profound sect. Instead, he was willing to allow them to research, learn, and create their own versions of the artifacts, gadgets, and tools there. He was also able to increase their powers too. And if they continued going into those mysterious realms, it wouldn't take long before they broke through. It might be the fastest breakthrough for people as mighty as them. If word got out, many sects might try causing trouble for Boss Chu. The most annoying and superior of all sects here in the Ta province was the Holy Fountain sect. Those arrogant, greedy bastards would definitely try something sneaky. That's why before leaving, they had already decided to educate Chu Che, giving him a heads up on the matter. As for the profound sect, they had also decided to talk with the sect leader, hoping that the sect could be friends with Boss Chu. The sect disciples would have much to gain standing on Boss Chu's side. For one, they wouldn't get banned or suspended. Just thinking about their previous actions, they couldn't help shivering a bit. Luckily, because they were investigating, they managed to calm themselves down earlier on. Or else they would have been banned by now, missing all the heavenly realism there. As expected, humility pays. They secretly swore that when they returned to the sect, they would warn those bastard disciples to be on their best behavior whenever they were close to Wonji town. No, from now on, all disciples needed to be on their best behavior wherever they went. Who knew if they would accidentally annoy Chu Che's master somewhere? Thinking about it all made the duo a little frightened. In the entire lower realm, they felt like Boss Chu's master was the most skilled and should be a very frightening being. They dared not cross him. Songhai looked at Chu Che with expectancy and caution. Boss Chu, can you allow us to create these artifacts here? Chu Che shrugged. Up to you. But you will have to research them yourselves. It is part of a learning process. I will not help you in this matter. At least, until I see what you've created already. What? He was willing? The duo trembled with excitement. Of course, Boss Chu. Just giving us permission is good enough. Don't worry. We won't let you down. That's right. Before, I didn't think it through thoroughly when asking you those questions. But Boss Chu, I think you're right. Us studying and researching would yield more results and give us breakthroughs in our professions when compared to us just asking for the information. Thank you, Boss Chu, for your guidance. The duo were impressed with Chu Che. It seems that they had misunderstood him earlier on. Could someone willing to share secrets about these hidden realms be selfish, greedy, and a cheat? If this sort of thing fell in the hands of others, they would hoard and even mislead people, keeping such secrets to themselves. But Boss Chu was different. He was not only willing to share his secrets, but also didn't mind guiding others too. His actions had undoubtedly won their respect. They now saw him as an elder rather than a 16-year-old kid. Now they felt like the price offered per hour was too cheap. Chu Che was neither arrogant nor prideful, as if the mundane matters of the world were of no concern to him. And seeing that they couldn't see through his cultivation level, they felt like such a person would have been very famous if he wanted to. Yet, no one had ever heard of him before. There was no doubt about it. Boss Chu was a kind and humble person. Bo Su and the rest felt the same too. Except to them, they would readily replace the word humble with narcissistic. Chu Che, who didn't know what everyone was thinking about, finally decided to choose a spot to grow the buildings rewarded to him. Of course, he wouldn't open it to the public now. But there was a new side mission alert that he had to do. Seeing that the duo were very sticky, not letting him go, Chu Che decided to take them along. Are you all done? Yes, Boss Chu. We finished our daily 6-hour time limit in the realms. Okay. Then, do you want to come with me? Nianzu and Songhai gripped his hands, as if they were accepting a marriage proposal or something. Boss Chu, say no more. Let's go. As for you disciples, go sleep or do something else. You are disturbing Boss Chu, Nianzu said in disdain. Why did he suddenly feel that these disciples of his weren't pleasing to the eyes anymore? Lulu hurriedly held her new senior brother's hand and refused to go. Smelly master, you just want my senior brother for yourself. Humph. Chu Che scratched his nose awkwardly. Well, they can come as well. What's the matter with you all? Why the hell were you planning on leaving now? Are you deaf? Didn't you hear that Boss Chu wants you to come? Are you trying to make him dissatisfied? Hurry up and follow behind.
Bu Su Gang, tê không tê.
Bo Su and the rest had no tears in their eyes, but wanted to cry. How come they didn't know that their master was so two-faced? Bo Su and the rest looked at their master and Elder Songhai helplessly, while shaking their heads wryly. If someone had told them they would see such a scene where the duo could be so shameless, they would have never believed. But now, their calm master and Elder Songhai were fidgeting and shaking excitedly while talking with Chu Che. These were renowned elders from their sect. If many in the sect saw this scene, they would open their mouths wide in surprise. Was that still the famous Elder Songhai who was always cold-looking? Where did his powerful demeanor go? And their Elder Nianzu, who many hadn't heard his voice before, was talking here so freely and excitedly without a care in the world. What the hell was going on? People would probably think that they were possessed or something. But only those who had gone into the strange gaming hall realms would know why. In fact, Nianzu and Songhai were actually chatty people. It's just that they only chatted freely when in private meetings with other elders. When going out on missions or standing before sect disciples, both new and old, they had to keep appearances. But it seemed that the realms had shocked them so much that they didn't even bother. The duo merrily walked alongside Chu Che, wagging their non-existent tails as they followed along. Of course, Lulu was still merrily holding Chu Che's hand, while puffing her chest out proudly. Yes, this was her senior brother. She only felt terrible for her sect sisters, who she tried to set up with Chu Che earlier on. When she first met Chu Che, he told her he wouldn't court her senior sisters. He also told her sternly that she should throw those throughout away and forget it. And so the 9-year-old naive Lulu believed his nonsense, thinking that she was the one who was trying to set him up with her senior sect sisters. Looking at her handsome senior brother Chu, she felt that she was indeed wrong to try setting him up with others. Her senior brother is too good, so how can her sect sisters compare? She just hoped her sect sisters wouldn't be too heartbroken when she told them the news. Sigh. Ru Moyen, who also finished his 6 hours, also tagged along curiously. It wasn't just him, as everyone else was interested in where they were going. Even old Fru, who stayed by Chu Che's side, was also curious too, since he didn't have a single clue about what his young master wanted to do. Just like that, the entire gang followed Chu Che out of the Gammon Hall until they found themselves walking past the somewhat spacious parts of the town. Why did they stop here? At this point, they were all confused. Even Nianzu and Songhai couldn't figure out why they were here. They scanned the area again, but didn't find anything out of the ordinary. But their gut told them that things might not be as simple as they thought. They furrowed their brows and scanned the area countless times to no avail. What exactly was so special about the place? Chu Che looked at the empty plots of land and nodded in satisfaction. Even though there were tall grass and weeds across the entire place, it shouldn't be an issue. The area he found could fit at least 20 regular-sized buildings, stacked side by side to one another. It was that big. Great. With this place, he could comfortably place all the halls awarded to him now. And there might still be room for more halls in future. Well, he didn't know how big or small the building sizes would be. So he wasn't sure if the space would be enough for future halls. After all, for all he knew, one hall might take up half the space. Everyone looked at Chu Che impatiently. Boss Chu, what are you trying to do here? Do you need our help for anything? Yeah, Boss Chu. Are you here for the weeds? Could it be that this ordinary mortal grass is important? Chu Che massaged his chin while calmly shaking his head. No, it's none of that. Everyone's ears perked up. If it wasn't that, then what could it be? What would make Boss Chu so interested in this place? Chu Che casually glanced at them before looking at the land again. Halls. I'm here to create a few more halls. Everyone looked at Chu Che, then at the land, before looking at Chu Che again. Their eyes kept moving back and forth while lost in thought. It was as if lightning struck them silly, as they continuously theorized what the mighty Boss Chu would create next. Ru Moyen had told them how he witnessed Chu Che turn an ordinary building into the gaming hall in a matter of seconds, which was already too impressive. So now they expected such a scene. It was just that looking at an empty plot of land, they couldn't help wondering how he was supposed to transform a random building into a hall if there were no buildings around. Everyone trembled and tried to calm themselves down to watch the once-in-a-lifetime show. At this point, they were even afraid to think, for fear of missing out on anything. They all turned silent, as if giving time to allow Chu Che to concentrate. Shoo! Let Boss Chu work. Chu Che, who didn't need any damn concentration, was busy talking with the system. System, the land is here. So place the mission hall first. Okay, my darling host. With that, the system changed into an attire similar to that of a construction worker and started fake drilling on Chu Che's shoulder. As it drilled, it bumped up and down, vibrating with the drill in its hands. It even worked up a sweat and took out a handkerchief. And after wiping its cute face, it made a tiny bottle of water appear and drank it. Ah, what a hard day's work. Chu Che looked at the system's avatar before glancing at the loading on his screen and knew what was going on. All this time, while fake drilling, the system had been assessing the land and making it sturdier. Following that, it probably began arranging how the building would look like. And the more the system fake drilled on his shoulder, the faster the loading bar shot up. 79%, 84%, 91%, 100%. Ding. Loading completed. Brrrr. Instantly, the ground rumbled. And what happened next was something that Bo Su and the rest would never forget in their lives. Nianzu and Songhai were the ones who got hit the most. Illusion. It had to be an illusion. How could such a thing be possible? What's happening? Rumble.
Rumble.
Everyone felt countless vibrations under their feet as they stabilized themselves swiftly. The ground opened up magically, and right before their very eyes, a massive towering building shot out of the ground. Boom! Everyone's eyes almost fell out of their sockets. Lying trough. How can buildings grow like trees? Logic told them it was impossible, but the facts before them showed them otherwise. The building was like nothing they had ever seen before. But to Chu Che, he was more than familiar with it. The building was 75% similar to the towering modern-day buildings, with glass windows and many modern features. But there was also something very different about it. He could tell that there were some features on it that Earth had never seen before, which made him curious. Host, are you surprised? This system combined your typical building on Earth with that from planet Xenons, another planet that seemed to have a similar history to your previous world. As for the differences and new features within the building, my darling host will have to uncover them for himself. Chu Che nodded while listening. Planet Xenons? So there might be alien tech inside? Okay. He couldn't lie. He was already hooked. Everyone looked at the magnificent building before them and almost dropped to their knees to scream. It's a miracle. Damn. Boss Chu was good. Even those in the profound sect and other mighty sects couldn't pull off such a feat. Yet, a 16-year-old had done so right before their very eyes. Just how strong was he? They wanted to meet the woman that birthed him and shake her hands in reverence. Madam, you birthed a genius. Thinking of his direct disciples back in the set, whom he thought were geniuses, Songhai twisted his mouth in disdain. Couldn't they be like this promising young lad here? What was a genius? This was a genius. Even Lulu, who had a 1-in-a-million rare ice body, felt that her new senior brother was too strong. Once again, she became prouder than usual. What are they shocked about? Her senior brother is awesome. As for old Fru, he only thought Chu Che could do all this because of his master, and also because Chu Che's mother was from the upper realm. As expected, he inherited her gifted body, making his achievements faster and bigger. Not to talk of the fact that Chu Che's father himself was a genius here. So their child should definitely be a sensation, no? Mem. Instantly, everyone's membership card lit up, and a notification popped up on the card's screen. Mission Hall now available. For more information, click the Building tab and select Mission Hall.
Oh.
Like magic, the members around Wonji Town looked at their cards excitedly. What? A new hall? When did the hall exist? Where is it located? Look. It's a new hall. It's called the Mission Hall. Wait, let me see. Okay, I've clicked on the Mission Hall icon. Wah. Is that the building? What sort of divine creation is this? F*******. It's now on the map. But too bad, it shows that it will only be open 2 days from now, from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Damn. If it were open today, I would have gone over now. Too exciting. There's a lot of information under the Mission Hall tab. We'll be able to carry out missions according to mission classes. There are SSS missions, going right down to F-class missions. Awesome. I was wondering how to make money these next few days. All my gold coins are almost out. I can always go hunting for beast cores. But it feels like a hassle to go hunting every time, every day. Having money is just more convenient. Bro, I'm happier that some missions are chilled back. Just take a look at the D-class or F-class mission description. My mother is a spiritual crop farmer, so she might be able to sell her goods directly to the mission hall, rather than struggling to sell them to the nobles and others far away. Hey, I admit that this is a good thing, but we can always do it later on, so in the end, I might not check it out now. My god of war and mortal combat are waiting for me. The announcement on the membership card made everyone talk excitedly. It was just that since it was a mission hall and not another realm, many weren't too interested. Why take up a mission that might keep them out of the town for days, if not weeks and months? They felt like it wasn't worth it. But it was an undeniable fact that it was an excellent way to make a huge heap of money that could sustain them for a while. So many decided to take a mission only once a month or something like that. Their biggest issue was that they didn't want to stay away from the gaming hall for so long. In their minds, it was just a source of income if they ran out of money. In short, they had subconsciously neglected this new hall in their minds. My darling host, you need to complete your new side mission soon. You must complete and live stream one task from the mission hall within 2 days. Show them what this mission hall is all about. No problem. Chu-Che nodded and looked at the anxious people beside him. All right, let's go. Let's go see the mission hall. Yes. All right. Let's go. Right. Everyone answered in unison before following Chu-Che merrily. They walked through the concrete platform for a bit, before ascending a few steps and arriving at a massive double-sided glass door that opened on its own. Honestly, the space around the entire building was enormous and as spacious as those around some sect buildings. Everything about the magnificent towering structure made them feel a sort of reverence emitting out of the building itself. How could such a structure exist? They had never seen one before. Standing before the massive double-sided door, they were once again awed. Honestly, the door was similar in height to those in the pavilion, meaning that when standing by the doors, they looked like cars next to the door. 15 of Nianzhu placed on top of each other would be equivalent to how tall the door was. Not to talk of its width. The door looked like it was made for giants, which they were all too familiar with. But the fact that this door was glass and had a unique design made them observe and nod in satisfaction. Whoosh. The moment Chu-Che came close to the door opened. One shouldn't forget that even though the hall got created now, it will only be officially open 2 days from now. So the door could only open for Chu-Che, the park owner. Stepping in, everyone was immediately taken aback by the designs here. Even though it was similar to the gaming hall and the registration building, there were a few new things that made them tremble from shock. Wait, so he conjured up an entire building and even created puppets in the process? Were their eyes deceiving them? Did they also see puppets descending from moving stairs? And what about those floating balls? What do they do? Of course, once again, Nianzhu and Songhai, who were worldly designers, stared at the scene with their mouths wide open. How many ideas and designs does Chu-Che have? Of course, it wasn't just them who got excited over this, as Ni Long and Ping Li also got overly excited. Every one of Nianzhu's disciples had chosen a profession while seeking his guidance. Ni Long and Ping Li were already rank 1 worldly designers, with one in the conclusive stage and the other in the equi stage. So they too focused on all the wonders within the building. Of course, Nianzhu's other disciples studied other professions, which he was also proficient at. He had 4 major professions outside teaching, so his disciples studied one of them under him. Only a few gifted ones, like Gao Mu and Bo Su, started studying 2 professions all at once. Everyone looked around and admired the beautiful fountain at the center of the massive hall. No, they felt like ants walking into a giant's palace. Everything was so awe-striking. Bing, 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 bing. Master, 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 master. Instantly, several Rosies quickly descended the escalators excitedly. Some, who were already on the same floor, rushed towards him from where they were, while others descended from the magical floating ball, which Chu-Che took as an elevator. Was this tech from planet Xenon? Did they do it following magnets? Or did they use something else? The floating elevator never touched the ground or the sides of the wall. Bing, 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 bing. Master, master, master. All Rosies had their antennas beeping vigorously as they hurried to their master for pampering. Chu-Che could easily read their moods because of their beeping. To him, their antennas were like a dog's tail to Chu-Che. When it was happy, it would wag excessively while barking and looking at its owner expectantly. Of course, the Rosies could talk and do other things to express themselves. And even the ball at the tip of their antennas beeped in different colors, depending on their mood. At least in Chu Che's mind, they were easier to read than humans. Looking around, Chu Che remembered the things the system said about the mission hall. In particular, when it comes to the escalators, elevators, and some other devices, only those in the upper mission classes could use them. Simply put, only mission takers who ranked up could advance further to the next floor. The current floor they were in had a sector on the far end, mattered to only F-class taskers. Now they were standing within the general lounge area for newbies and everyone else. It was like a giant welcome area that also had large computer-like boards, the size of Chu Che, that showed missions for all ranks. These boards covered an entire wall, with several boards showing only specific ranks. Some boards only showed F-class missions, while others focused on A-class missions. In other words, it placed all missions here so newbies can further understand things. Of course, in the separate F-class sector, the only missions published were those for F-class taskers. The same could be said for other mission classes too. But here's the thing. While F-class taskers had to share the floor with the welcome lounge, other ranks didn't. The floor above was only for E-class taskers, and above that was for D-class taskers only. The higher one ascended the building, the rank. The highest rank was the SSS class, which owned 3 entire floors for itself. What was on those floors, Chu Che didn't know. The general area they were standing on mainly was for questions, guiding newbies, and so on. Everything was adequately organized based on ranks. So this goes without saying, but the rewards for each class were different. That said, only by ranking up would one be able to use the escalators and elevators. Again, many could start with F and E-class missions if they weren't sure where they stood. From there, they could work their way up to the top. Boss Chu, so you mean that tomorrow there will be missions available? Yes, there will be missions on the list here. So if you see anyone you like, you can pick it up. Everyone nodded in understanding. But even though it seemed simple on the surface, something within them felt like things might not be as easy as they appeared. Chu Che found their vigilance funny. He had no clue what made them turn vigilant. Why were they looking at him like that? Was it because he was too handsome? Were they all jealous again? He seriously couldn't keep up with how fast people got jealous these days. Every time, he would have to coax them to let go of their jealousy. And it was all too tiring. Sigh. With the mission hall completed, Chu Che didn't rush to erect the other hall awarded to him yet. He just wanted to focus on the mission hall for the time. All right, time to do his side mission.